Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. We work with entrepreneurs from all over the world, and our goal is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. And in support of that mission, we do week after week these free mentoring roundtables. This is the 377th session. So it's been going on for a long time. It's coming up to 10 years. In 2018, it will be 10 years that we've been doing this. And 1 million by 1 million itself was launched at the end of 2010. So even that has been going on now for a long time. The event is being recorded. You will have a recording available on our YouTube channel. That channel is 1M1M Roundtables. It's full of recordings of prior sessions as well as other video content that you might find it useful. It's a great, body of learning material for those of you who are trying to understand the nuances of early stage technology entrepreneurship. And if you're following us on Twitter, you already know that there's a tremendous amount of great content that we publish. You can access that content by following either of our Twitter handles at 1M1M and at Romana. And if you're live tweeting the show today, please use hashtag 1M1M. These are the call-in numbers. We're going to open the call up for call-ins, free call-ins later, but first we have, I think, 6 entrepreneur pitches that we're going to work through, which are the main agenda for the session today. Just a few quick expectation setting points. Remember, this is an accelerator, and the only reason we are here is to help you accelerate your journey, to brainstorm with you about your strategy, to figure out what we can add to your thinking, and give you some tips, some strategic guidance with which you can potentially accelerate your process. There is absolutely no other agenda. It's a completely safe forum. We are on your side. There's no other agenda of this particular platform. Now, it may be possible that you would disagree with my feedback in the course of the discussion. That's okay. You have to listen. I'm obviously giving you feedback on the basis of a lot of years of experience, but it's really your venture, and you will eventually make the decision on what you want to do with that venture. One thing, though, please remember that not all businesses can raise money. Not all businesses should raise money, and not raising money does not necessarily guarantee success either. So the point of blindly chasing funding is a problem, a disease that we see rampant in our ecosystem, and we try to really caution you to not do that just because it's not a path to success necessarily. It can be a tool that helps you become successful, but it is not success itself. Don't define your success as raising funding. We are going to start today with Thish from London. Thish, please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on.
Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Thish. Hi. So we're going to talk very quickly about our product, our business called Their Perfect Gift. There's quite a few slides, but don't be alarmed. They're for visual effect more than anything else. So what we are is a spend anywhere gift card. Romana, can we go to the next slide, please? So one gift card that you can redeem in practically any department store around the world. Harrods, Macy's, Dubai shopping mall, so on, so on. Basically anywhere that accepts MasterCard. Next slide, please. That means any restaurant, any city. And MasterCard obviously is one of the world's most recognized and accepted payment brands. Next slide, please. We have, to date, our second year of trading, we have now sold over 100,000 gift cards. Most of our business is corporate. Nearly 75% of our business is corporate. We originally thought we were going to be a B2C proposition. As it's turning out, we're more B2B. but still have a B2C angle, because we are the only business in the UK selling these cards online. We originally raised, so far to date, £243,000. 85,000 of that has already been returned back to shareholders. And we right now have a very enviable relationship with the MasterCard business in both the UK and Ireland. Next slide, please.
Thish, I have a few questions. I don't know if you're going to be answering them later in the presentation, but let me ask you and you can decide whether to answer them now or later in the conversation. So I would like to understand, what does a corporate relationship mean? What, who does what in that relationship, and how does the money flow, number one. Number two, in your angel funding, what is the structure? Is it a convertible debt of which you have already returned? Was it a debt that you returned 85K off? And basically, what is the structure of that? And then what is the nature of the relationship with MasterCard? Those are my three questions of this slide.
Okay, so the first one, the corporate flow. In fact, we'll come back to those, shall we?
Sure, if you like.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just quickly go through, because some of them might actually already be answered.
Perfect.
So, so in terms of the UK market for gift cards, roughly the market is valued at around £6 billion. And we have a 65 million population, and obviously in that you can count children as well in there. But that market is independently calculated by the UK Gift Card and Voucher Association. I was shocked that there was such an association, but it does exist. So these are their numbers. They roughly estimate the market to be split 50-50 consumer and corporate. The average gift card amount is about £25. So when you look at that number, roughly 20,000 plus are sold every hour. As it's turning out, our average gift card amount is actually about £111. Next slide, please. These are two brands we are currently route to market with. Love, a more emotive word, and that features heavily with the consumer space. And rewards, difficult for an employer to give a love kind of product to an employee or customer. So these are the brands we've gone to market with, and it's kind of working out in that vein. What we also now have is the ability to have augmented reality coming off the gift card. There's a little click in there to the YouTube video, but I don't think that will work. I'll put that up there separately. But how it works is that you can record a video. One still of that video is printed on the MasterCard itself. When the recipient receives the card, they activate it as a normal process, but they hold the card in front of their smartphone without app open. The video that was pre-recorded plays out on their phone. So it's all about personalization. And the more and more the market is going, it's all about how you give something that someone wants, but tag on the personalization element of it. And all we've really done is tapped into the psychology of why people even buy gift cards.
Okay.
And the next piece is having pictures and still images on the card itself. Because what we need to remember is that though we are retailing as a consumer proposition, marketing against retailer-specific gift cards, what we fundamentally are is a financial services product. And as such, there's a whole heap of regulation that sits behind all this, plus quite an expansive financial technology supply chain. And that's where the MasterCard network and relationship come in. And just to answer that third question of yours, Romana, we managed to, even as a startup, get a direct link off the main MasterCard UK and Ireland websites that came straight to ours. And to the point that if you as a corporate, or it's unlikely you do it as an individual, but as a corporate, if you found your way into the right MasterCard team looking for gift cards, they'd send you to me.
I see. So MasterCard, you are basically back-end processing the MasterCard gift card for corporates.
Yeah, and consumer. So the supply chain is effectively, so we're the only ones that are selling this stuff online. That's pretty much across Europe now. I think in our second year we sold pretty much every country in the SEPA region.
Okay.
Yeah. So in our corporate branding propositions, it's not just about product, but it's about service. And this will hopefully tackle that first question about what kind of relationship we have with these corporates, in that they come to us now on a regular basis. These are now accounts. And what we do is effectively provide a fulfillment service for them. We act as an outsourced affiliate partner. So the likes of, say, TM Lewin or Dunlop, the likes of TM Lewin, which have about 300 retail stores across the UK, we provide their cards, their staff rewards cards, long service cards. We supply the gift cards that each store uses for their Christmas parties, etc. For the likes of Dunlop, we get involved with their marketing campaigns, and we'll do the fulfillment out to every customer that qualifies. So we've recently just landed Paddy Power, which is quite a large gambling business. But our relationship with them is as a staff recognition product. So they send us a spreadsheet. They tell us who to send the cards to and how much to be loaded on the cards and which personalized messages they want in which greeting card. And we take care of that fulfillment for them.
The primary use case for the corporate business is employee recognition.
Well, there's two effectively. So firstly, it's that employee piece, and that is generally driven by the human resources team. And then the second element is customer loyalty and reward. And what we find is that the HR side of things tends to be lower volume but higher value. And then the marketing side tends to be lower value but higher volume. Yeah.
Okay.
And next slide. So in terms of who we compete with, the vast majority in the UK are retailer specific.
Yes.
So we are pretty much the only open loop business that do what we do. Our competitors in this space for the open loop is an organisation called Blackhawk, which is a very heavily PE-backed an American corporation who are on a massive spending spree by the looks of it. But I estimate roughly 95%, if not more, of the UK market are specific to one or just a group of retailers. The open loop gift card is nowhere near as popular in the UK as it is in the US. And retailers love it because statistically, on average, you'll end up spending 40% more above the value of the gift card in the store you got a gift card for. And if you don't redeem, the stat is about 8 to 10% of the value is never spent. And on our product, the card is live for 12 months. And after that time period, we expire the balance out at £2.50 a month until the balance is dead.
Okay. And
in that time frame, the card holder can come to us at any point and ask for their funds to be transferred. And we're very comfortable with that, but it is definitely a fucking card which deducts off the balance. And next slide.
Sorry, your audio is a little bit strange. Thish, I didn't get what happens if the card holder requests. What did you say? What happens when the card holder requests a refund or something? What did you say?
Okay, so if the card expires, because the card expires for 12 months, if they want the balance moved to a new card, there's £6 to pay, which is deducted off the current, and no one buys one of our gift cards because you're paying roughly 6% above the odds. So these are all cards that someone has been given. Yeah, so it wasn't their money to start with. Next slide. Okay, so personalization is where we see what makes both in terms of the corporate and consumer space. And what we've now moved into more by accident than by design is more and more in the benefits and recognition side of of the market, which obviously is humongous. So what we try and do is not compete with the benefits platforms. We try and add to their customers. So we use them as a route to market.
Okay.
This is a very quick timeline of what we've achieved. We have pretty much cemented the entire supply chain, issuer, processor, program manager, printer, and the network by getting our business to a point of valuation. Then we gave the equity away, or enough of the equity to make the loss.
So I have problems hearing you at the moment. Your audio is not clear. So let me ask you some questions that we need to speed up because I have several other people to work with. What? Yeah. How many corporate customers do you have right now?
Probably about 400 to 500.
400 to 500 corporates, and what is the average revenue that you make of these corporate customers? And what is the revenue model? First and foremost, what is your revenue model? You take a percentage of the card, right? What percentage is that?
Yeah, so it depends on the load value on the card. So for £100 gift card, we charge you £105.99. And then we have add-ons like next day delivery, personalization, themes, greeting card, etc. So it is not untypical for someone to buy a £100 gift card and end up spending £115.
Okay, so 6 to 15% is the revenue percentage for you.
Yeah, if you consider, and then what you've got is at the end of 12 months, we're just still waiting for the breakage numbers to come back from our processor, but I'm working on roughly about 4% not to redeem, which is about 50% of the market average.
And what happens? How does that impact your revenue, the not to redeem part?
Well, we book that into revenue because we expire out the balance at £2.50 a month.
I see. So that the not redeemed comes to you as revenue.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
But
so average
in a waterfall effect.
In the 400 to 500 customers that you have, what is the average revenue you're making per customer?
So we're probably making about £5 or £6 per card. And then we have now. But
you don't have 400 to 500 cards. You have 400 to 500 corporate customers. You said. Yeah,
corporate customers, but that ranges from SME to PLC.
Okay, so what is the total revenue that you have right now? 2017 revenue number is what?
2017 will be about, because I'm not going to count the load value here. I'm going to just count the activation fees and everything else comes in. That will be about 150,000.
160,000, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's a volume game, yeah?
Yes.
So, in fact, we could probably move on.
So let's go to your questions at this point because I'm going to have to move to the next presenter.
Yeah, no problem.
What questions can we answer for you?
I really want to understand how a VC thinks into backing businesses like ours, because we've actually had to bootstrap this going forward, but I'm seeing lots of businesses who are calling themselves challenger banks using exactly the same supply chain that we've got, but they've had to raise millions to get where they are, but at a poor level, they lose money. On every card, they'll lose money. Yet they seem to be attracting more and more interest, both from the financial press, but also money. That seems to all be coming from the US. Based on a database model, which I don't really understand.
The financial press is not very savvy. The financial press doesn't understand how businesses are built. They basically tend to report on funding announcements, and that is a disease in our ecosystem that we have to live with. So your first question is what you really should focus on in trying to understand how investors think, and basically, typically, in a company looking at a venture fund looking at an investment opportunity, they're trying to see, can you build a high velocity, large business based on your premise, your business premise. So can you go from 0 to $100 million in revenue in a 5 to 7 year period and build a sustainable business? That's really the overall overarching question that they're trying to understand. And there are, if you double click down on that question, there are numerous, sub-questions that you will have to answer. And in a way, you've come to the perfect place to learn how to answer those questions. This is all stuff that we teach in the program. And I strongly encourage you to understand those questions and how to answer them. To begin with, you can go to the self-assessment on the 1M1M website, and that will give you an idea of the questions. Now, one thing that I like very much in what you've presented is that you have bootstrapped and validated your premise. Now we have to figure out the scale issue, right? Because investors are looking to scale with velocity. How do you scale with velocity is the question that we'll have to answer next. And I'll be happy to help you answer that.
Okay, so what we find is, for us, is about awareness. And most of our traffic is now coming purely organically through Google search. So in the UK, Google UK, .co.uk, if you typed in MasterCard gift card, then that would be us. Top of any paid ads. If you type in perfect gift, that would be us. So all of this stuff is now coming either through word of mouth or through natural organic search. But also, because we have this nice corporate space, our cards end up in the hands of consumers who have to come back to our website to activate or check balance, which basically means if they like the product and how we're doing it, we convert them too. So our average cost of
all of these
is
questions need to be, all of these questions need to be worked out. Is what exactly is the customer acquisition strategy? What is the cost of customer acquisition? Are you ending up with healthy unit economics in building this business long term? Good VCs, good investors will ask all of those questions, and you're going to need answers to all of those questions.
Super. Sure.
All right. So let me move to, thank you, Thish, for your presentation. So far,
my pleasure.
Very encouraging, and I hope you pursue all these questions and figure out how to answer them. And we'll be, if you hang out, I will talk about how to use the program to answer these kinds of questions later on in the program today. And you can ask more questions later as well. Dominique Chapin, you are next. Could you please unmute your line? Hello.
Yeah. You hear me fine?
Yes, I see you fine.
All right, excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I followed your slide process. So yeah, this is me. I'm currently living on the road with my family, and we'll go to next slide. So we've built a company a few years ago, which offers parking reservation through box offices. So for venues and event goers. So now we have a new platform called PI. It stands for Plan Your Evening. It's a multi-service reservation platform for the entertainment industry. So next slide. So everyone has at once at least went to an event. So you buy your tickets, and then you have to build your evening. So you want to dine out, you'll need a parking, or you need some sort of transportation to get there, and you're left by yourself. I mean, you don't have any help through the venue or the box office. So this is where we come in. We offer parking reservation for a few years now, and now we're adding dining and accommodation, and then we'll add some merchandising. And then there's the inequity. The producers in the venues are the ones who are taking all the risks, so they buy the artist up front, and then if there's not enough people at your venue at the concert, you're losing money. Meanwhile, everyone around, so all the parking lots, all the restaurants, the hotels are all making money. So our business model is making money from the restaurant, other services around, and giving back a portion of it to the venues and the producers. So this is the way we're getting to our clients. So it's a pain for them, they're using our services, they're selling the pain for their patrons, and they're making money out of it. Next slide, please. So the solution, whenever a patron buys his ticket, he's giving information like ticket price bracket, the time and date and location, and the number of guests who will be attending the event. So we can tailor offers to their price bracket, so and the number of guests and exactly where and when. So what we did is we partner up with partners like Priceline for hotels and YP Dine, Yellow Pages in Canada, and then parking companies, and we're gathering all their inventory. And when you're attending an event on August 9th, we'll at 8 o'clock, we'll only offer services that are readily available at that date and close to your venue. Next slide, please. So how we reach out to end users, we do it directly in the ticket purchasing process of box offices. So you must have seen it maybe. You buy your tickets and then they're offering you extra services, add-ons, upsells. So that's directly in the ticket purchasing process. Then you have confirmation emails such as the airline industry. So you buy your airline tickets and then they offer you hotels and rentals and stuff. Widget on the website, as I mentioned, we are settling pains for the venues. So it's all in their advantage to push our solution forward. They're making money out of it. And,
so are you doing these, all this other stuff, the interfaces or the connectors into other services, are you doing that as an affiliate?
Yes, I'm an affiliate, but all the transaction is on our system. So there's no redirection. So we gather all the inventories and then we push it through our solution. So a few clicks, if you need 3 different products, 3 different services. So you select your services and then you pay once at one place, one transaction, all service included.
I see. So Priceline gives you an API to do that kind of stuff, and other players that you're working with give you APIs to complete the transaction on your side and then pass on the payments to them. Exactly.
So they're taking the payments on a corporate cards we have, but the transaction is all on one system.
Okay, plus, so you are acting as a consolidator of their services.
Correct. And speaking of Priceline, they've been kind enough to offer us CUG rates. So we have the best rates, discounts. CUG rates are closed group rates. So just like the airline industry. So since you bought tickets, you're a closed group and you can benefit from the
and best. What is the fee structure? What is the affiliate fee that they're paying you commission-wise, and how do you split that between you and the venue and the ticketing systems?
So for the hotels, it's anywhere between 8 and 60% with the CUG rate. So with a mean of 33%, we give an extra 10% to the patron, so that we're left with an average of 23% of the hotel room if they're using CUG rates. And then we give a $3.50 to it's a flat fee for the hotels. For the parking lot, we usually take $3 off, so it's a flat fee, $3 off the parking fares. So if it's $20, they get 17. We keep 3, and we give 50 cents to the venue. And as for the restaurant, that model hasn't been completed yet. We have open tables that gives out a flat fee to any affiliates. As with YP Dine in Canada, their business model is not like that, but we're looking at selling prepaid meals or gift cards to event goers. So you would get a $50 gift card for $45, or a rebate of 10%, and we would be making our money out of it.
Okay.
So the industry is pretty big. The live entertainment is selling over 2 billion tickets per year. That's not taking into account companies like Eventbrite, which you use, which are selling 200 million other tickets as more of events, not live entertainment. So, and we've been talking with Havn.
So this, by the way, is not the TAM that you're looking for. What you're looking for is a bottom-up TAM analysis, which you're going to need to put together if you haven't done so already.
Yeah. Well, I've looked your website, and I find it really helpful, and for sure I'll have to do that analysis. So, yeah, in the next 36 months, we did some maths, though, and I'd be delighted to be challenged on them. But I'm from the entertainment industry, so I had access to relevant data. Next slide.
So $45 million in commissions is accumulative over 36 months, or are you talking about in 3 years your annual revenue reaches $45 million? What is this number?
In 3 years from now, we'll be on the road. We'll be on path of doing $45 million commission per year.
Per year, okay. And this $45 million in commission includes your portion and the venue's portion.
Indeed.
And what percentage is yours of this $45 million? What is your revenue?
It will be 85-15. It's usually we give out 15 to 20%. So let's say 20%. So 80-20. If we give out 20% of our revenues to. So that's our acquisition cost, if you will, because we're not doing any marketing. They're doing it for us. They have the relationship with the end user.
Yeah,
and
So what are your questions?
Well, I've bootstrapped. I've never raised any capital. I've put my heart and my money into it. I've raised. I went for some loans from government, and now I'd like to scale it really, really fast. Well, that's how scaling works. And I want to know, is it something that would be interesting for venture capital? We have the partners, as you can see. We already have 111,000 reservations to date. We doing business with 5 box office company. We have all the connections. We now have the product, and now we want to scale it very fast. So I guess. And
what is your 2017 revenue number?
It's $470,000.
Okay, very good. So there's a bunch of things that you're going to need to put together to start talking to investors, but I don't see any reason why you can't start talking to investors, and we'll be happy to work with you to introduce you, prepare you, and then introduce you to investors and help you figure out how to scale.
I've heard a lot of info on this. What, according to you, what would be the time frame? I mean, the time to prepare and then pitch and then get interest and term sheets and then finalizing it all?
It depends on how fast you work and how much work you do on your side rapidly. There's going to be, as if you decide to work with us, I will, give you a bunch of action items that you're going to need to do in preparation, and it really depends on how fast you get that together. And then, let's say we are in December right now, depending on what your schedule is. If we if you join us right away and maybe in the next 30 days or 45 days, you can put together all the homework and all the pieces that we need to start talking to investors. We can then start talking to investors as soon as you have that ready. And then I would budget 3 to 6 months to close a deal.
Okay. And do you think we're kind of too far away? Would it be beneficial for us to go for a accelerator, or I know you have you are actually an accelerator, or
that's the only way we would work with you further from here on, is if you join our acceleration program. Other than that, we have no other way of working with you further.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been really good help, and I think we'll speak again soon.
All right. Perfect. Okay. We have Ashka Shah next. Please unmute your line, Ashka.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So we are developing an app to have safer sex. In other words, you can say it's a Tinder with an easy access to STD test results. Next slide, please. So the problem that we are focusing on is the sexually transmitted diseases that are there, the rates. There is an epidemic going on. There are 20 million new cases every year. Every 1 in 2 is infected with herpes 1. Every 1 in 6 is infected with herpes 2. 6.1 million are living with chronic hepatitis, and 1.2 million are living with HIV. And these all STDs are incurable, but due to the progress in medical research, all these STDs are manageable. Even then, there is a huge stigma around it, because of which a lot of people are not aware about STDs. A lot of them are not tested, and because of stigma, a lot of people do not disclose their STD status, and they end up transmitting. So this is the problem that we are focusing. Next slide, please. So this is a macro level healthcare issue, but the ground level user pain points are that even though there is an STD epidemic going on, rates are so high, whenever we go out on a date, it's so awkward to bring up this conversation, and it's impossible to share the trustable STD test results with the sexual partner. So right now we are just relying on trust, like try to exchange test results through email, or we show it on our phone. That's about it. So the solution that we have is an app where you can access your test results easily, directly from physician, hospital, or lab. So the STD test results you would have on the app would be trustable, which you can, next slide please, which then you can share with the partner. And then we have a Tinder-like dating component inside the app too, where you can swipe and get matched with nearby people. But the fact that you are meeting up with those people on this platform, they are already interested in safer sex, so you will not feel awkward chatting about STDs at all. They would be tested, and hence they would have their test results handy.
It's a requirement to have the test results to be part of your platform, yes?
No, not in the beginning, right now. It's
then
not
how do you guarantee that you will be able to provide the data?
Yeah, so the way we see the user flow right now is that in the beginning, when the user joins, they try to see how many matches they are getting, what the quality of people are and stuff, and then sometimes they get motivated to get tested. Also, sometimes they've just joined and they end up meeting somebody through the app or outside the app, but they are in the process of getting tested. And the fact that two people are going to meet up on this app, this is a standard expectation. So we will have to show the test result at some point in time, right? So eventually within like a week or two, they get tested. And to cut down on the onboarding barrier, I haven't kept it mandatory, but after reaching a particular number of users, I would keep it mandatory. And yeah, so we have recently cracked partnership with stdcheck.com to implement a feature where users will be able to order their test on the app itself. We are also working on a partnership with Annona IT Health, where users would be able to use their insurance to pay for the STD test as well. The revenue model and the market size we have is, so we would be generating revenue by charging user $20 per access, and the second revenue channel is $100 per ordering for ordering the STD test.
So $20 for what?
Let's say you got tested through your doctor and you are just accessing your test results on the app, then we would charge you $20.
$20
for that. Yeah, that's a one-time access fee. That's one. We can talk about the pricing model later on in the next slide. I have put up some numbers.
Well, these
but in
market
general,
size numbers without a bottom-up analysis don't really mean anything to us. So I'm just trying to kind of get an understanding of what is the real business model here.
It still does, because we are going to implement a feature of ordering test results on the app, and considering that we are getting $100 in revenue per test, that is there. Like,
how are you getting $100 in revenue per test? You're not a test lab. You're passing that test reservation to some lab that is actually getting that revenue. You're taking a commission of that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So STD check, through STD check, when we give users a feature, the test costs $220 to $240, and we get 40%. So we are getting $100 in revenue.
I see.
Through it.
Okay.
And if right now 100 million single users are there in the singles are there in the US, and considering that as a number, and $100 in revenue per test, and considering one test per single once in a year.
The problem I have with this
is a
little bit too broad. Your market sizing is a bit too broad. I don't think 100 million singles are in your available market. You have to figure out what is the segment that will actually adopt something like that, which I think is a much smaller percentage of that 100 million single audience. So if you work off of this 100 million single number, that is a gross overestimation of what your total available market is.
Right. So what we are seeing right now is that we have some users who are sexually way more active, and they are likely to get tested not just 1 but 3 times a year. But there are some users who are not even sexually that active, and they would be getting tested sometimes once in 2-3 years. So on an average, we have kept it as 1 test annually per user. And also now there is a dating component, which a lot of users prefer to not use it, but they can still use the STD testing and sharing features. And also I have taken reference of Tinder user base, which is close to 50 million in the North America. And hence I have kept my market size even bigger in numbers, because we will be capturing people who are not interested in using online dating platform. They are more into offline dating, but they can still use the STD testing and test result sharing features.
How do you know that they would be interested if they're not really online dating users? But you think that they're going to be online testing users? I'm not convinced about that assumption.
Yeah, it's because what happens is people sometimes meet up over bar, and sometimes they meet somebody on schools and workplaces, and when they start dating, of course, at some point in time when they start the sexual relationship, they would have to share their test results, right? So they are not meeting through online platform, but they are starting a sexual relationship, and we want to target that crowd as well.
So where are you right now? Is this an active app that people are already using?
I am at a stage where my product is market ready, but I haven't launched it yet. I have 300 users in my wait list, and I'm raising pre-launch right now. Thing against what you generally suggest, but I have bootstrapped so far. I did the soft launch in April for STD free people, but unfortunately I got an issue where people were submitting their test results and they were missing out on 2-3 tests.
Okay.
So I had to fix the product, and now we have the right product for users, and we need 1 year. I need 1 year of time to get the initial traction and some more money than what I have in the bank. I have 6 months of runway, but
it's difficult to raise money for apps without validation. That's the main problem that you're going to have.
Yeah. Right. So the questions that I had for you was that, what is the best way? So I have been bootstrapping so far, how I can maybe further bootstrap and, get the traction. How much traction should I target before starting to fundraise?
You're going to get traction. So whatever you can do, I'll be happy to work with you more closely to figure out the immediate next, how to put one step before the other kind of strategy. But can you stop talking, whoever is interfering in the call? So there is this putting one step before the other kind of roadmap that you're going to need to create and figure out how to afford that and how to deliver on that and how to ideally monetize all this as quickly as possible. I'll be happy to work with you on that, but I think you should set your mental expectations to that you are not yet ready for financing. It's going to be very difficult to raise financing the stage that you are in.
Yeah, so right now what I'm doing is, only thing I can see is that I'm working on this full-time. I have a full-time engineer working back in India for me, and I have a medical advisor named Uli Chatapalli, who is an emergency physician at Kaiser Permanente. So we are 3, and I have 2. I'm taking out payroll for me and engineer both right now. But if I want to continue doing that, either I'll have to get a job and do this on the side. But it's like not the ideal way for me.
You may have to do that because I think it will be where you are right now. It's going to be very difficult to finance right away. You are going to need some more runway that you have to bootstrap. And bootstrapping with a paycheck is a fine model. We recommend that.
Okay. And in terms of angel funding, do you think it's still achievable? Like a lot of people that I see that they...
right now it's not achievable. I don't think.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, those were the questions I had. So what is the best way to start working with you just to join the program?
Hang on for a bit. I will explain. Let me finish the next presentation and I will explain how to use 1Mby1M and how to work with me.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good premise. I think you have something that is quite promising actually. We have to figure out how to, do the chicken and egg phase, but I think your concept is interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. David Villan from Madrid. David, could you please unmute the line and tell us what you're working on?
Yeah, do you listen to me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My idea is related with a financial idea. So I'm from Madrid. Next slide, please. I have been working in the financial sector for 10 years. But the idea that I have is to offer financial services in the field of corporate finance for SMEs companies. Due to the problem analysis that 99% of companies here in Spain are small and medium, the low productivity and low innovation that they have is one of the problems. The low professional CEOs background that they have, the low financial optimization techniques, the high leverage debt ratios, and the not enough money to hire a financial director inside of most of these companies, of those companies. Next slide, please. The value proposition is related with to offer technology idea to automate processes. I'm going to explain it later. Also, what I want to offer is an outsourcing financial director addressed to each company. the proximity for SMEs companies in the file of corporate finance, because most of the banks look for big companies, and the idea is that could offer corporate finance services for small and medium companies, the most for small, the networking services that I can offer, and the portfolio services is 3. The first one is the debt restructure processes. The other is to offer services in valuation and advisory on M&A. And the financial optimization, the financial management optimization by 2 alternatives. One, to offer an outsourcing financial director using Excel templates first. The idea is to start with Excel to test for 2 years, and then in the third year start with technology solution with 5 ideas, basically: forecasted cash flow, ratios, graphic analysis, financial business plan, credit risk analysis, and back scoring debt analysis. So the idea is to start with first with Excel, and then 2 years later start with a technology solution validate. So the conclusion of this slide is that the TAM market is close to 30,000 companies, 30,000 companies. Next slide, please. And the customer acquisition strategy is to create alliances with accounting offices, to activate, to go to events and fairs, to make discounts, to apply networking and business relation for companies, to create a blog and webinar events, and to make marketing by LinkedIn and Twitter. Next slide, please. I have made 3 validation work with 3 different customers. So 2 from IT sector, and the other one was a marketplace startup. So I tested, we did different tools in Excel, like financial analysis ratio, like cash flow projected, like financial business plan projected, like valuation model scenario, and also a financial performance and project forecasting valuation. So the satisfaction profile that I got was 90% in the idea to them, because the most of that companies told me that they need a financial director inside, but they don't have the money to pay for it. So to offer outsourcing services will be a good idea for them. 80% in the intention to make referral to other friends or companies to refer my services, and 70% on prices. Next slide, please. So the revenue model is based in 2. Basically, one is by subscription model for 6 months. We prefer to first address the director financial to each company. So the idea is that they pay for 6 months by subscription, and in the third year, when we'll start with the technology solution. Also, the idea is to make a subscription model, and the other 2 are the restructure process and valuation and M&A services with the payment for commission, basically 1% of the amount. Next slide, please.
And this is, so you're saying you want to charge about, 6,000 to 7,000 euros for a 6-month period, which is roughly $1,000 a month. Are the people that you have talked to, they are agreeing with this pricing assumption?
Yeah, they are agree. But my question is that maybe I think it's so cheap, not really expensive. So I need to to have a lot of work to create money, because it's so cheap, the services, really, But,
so how many clients can you? It sounds like a very manual process. This doesn't sound very scalable to me based on what you're describing. So if you were to service these clients by yourself, let's say just you solo, how many clients like this can you service alone?
Yeah, in the next slide. Yeah, the next slide describe it. Okay. My idea is that it's a consultant that offer that services could offer services for six to eight companies. I know this is the problem in a scalable idea, but for that reason, the idea is to create at the third year a financial software to start to offer those services by
so
web.
David, what is the burn rate for how much let's say you hire consultants to do this, and you can get $6,000 to $8,000 per month per consultant.
No, this is
how much do you have to pay each consultant?
25,000 by year, so close to 1,500 per month.
Okay, so there's enough profitability in the system. So in that case, you should just start hiring customers and working it out and validating as you go along. This is basically a very standard body shopping, labor arbitrage kind of business model, at least for the time being. What you'll do in the future is to be figured out later. But for the moment, it's a pure, you have to hire a group of consultants to scale. And I think the thing that I like about what you're describing is that if all these assumptions check out, then Spain is a place where the unemployment level is very, very high right now. So if you can create a business where you can hire a lot of people for a reasonable amount of money and can give them jobs, this would be a very, very, even if you don't do anything else for the next 10 years, if you just hire a huge number of people, you can create a good business. And I think that's a perfectly worthwhile thing to do.
Okay. My question is basically how do you think I can do a scalable idea with this idea, because this is the problem, to transform my idea
in a scalable
these type of
companies are very easy to bootstrap. You basically get customers and you start servicing those customers. You start with one consultant, or start getting the customers, doing the work yourself, figuring out what is required. Then one by one you add consultants, add customers, and just scale. It's very easy. In that sense, this is a very well understood business.
Okay.
I'll be happy to, I'll be happy to coach you on the specifics of it, but these businesses have been built for many, many, many generations, and the mechanics and the nuances of how to build a business like what you're proposing to build are very well understood, very, very, tried and true.
Yeah. Okay.
And I hope you succeed, because I was just in Europe, and the labor situation in Europe is very, very bad. So Spain is a horrible labor market. So I really hope you succeed.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thank you.
All right, David. Thank you. Partho Chakraborty, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm next. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Sure.
Okay. Let me tell you in brief. I don't think even you need the slides to understand this. We were a startup. We started on 2015. We got incorporated on Swami Vivekananda's birthday, incidentally. And two products. We went for three products. One was on supply chain finance, and one was on deposits. Okay, so this is about what we are and about our entity. So can you go next slide, please? Okay, so what happened is we founded the company and now we are a 10-man people. So 3 products we made. The first product was a supply chain finance. It was an ERP product. And the other product we made was deposits. And the third product we made was for legal, but that was a specific requirement from some lawyers on which we did we made the software. The best part of what we developed was that we got our product curated by banks. Now, when I mean curated banks, yeah, I can just hold on that slide now. When I say, now let me take the product, for example, in deposits. In deposits, something now we have got a huge traction from the banks. So much so my bandwidth is totally filled up full. I can't even look at supply chain right now. So, each of the banks.
Hold on, you're all over the place. The presentation is completely all over the place. Let me try to understand what is it that you're trying to do. This deposit product is for banks?
Yeah, both.
Who is the customer for the product?
The customers are the bank's customers.
Whom do you sell
my
to?
Customers, no, my customers are the bank and the users are bank customers.
And you developed this product as a contract software development for a bank, or did you develop it independently and are selling to multiple banks?
No, we did it we saw the pain point that is there as per in the banking system out here based on which we developed the product, and we got a huge interest. So I'm now concentrating on deposit. I just took you to what products we have done, but right now I'm concentrating on deposits right now.
Okay. So how many banks are using your product, this deposit product?
No, not a single one right now. We just launched it, and before launching it, we met a lot of banks with the concept. We had done a small beta version. We showed the banks from State Bank of India to small banks like AU Small Finance Banks came back and said, this is what we look in the product for. So now what happens is we have got 2 proof of concepts to be done, one with AU Small Finance Bank and one with IDFC, to be followed up with banks like Axis Bank, SBI. So we've got 2 banks right now where we have to now deploy the product. So this product was pretty revolutionary because it was never done anywhere now, and we've applied a patent for this. Similarly, in supply chain finance also, we have got applied for 2 patents for that now. So we've applied a patent for this product.
one of these products, you have 2 banks interested in starting a POC. Are these paid POCs or free POCs?
No, we prefer to do a free one, a free POC. Once the POC is done, then we talk of commercials.
Why?
So 2 banks will start the POC on the product. And should I tell you a little more of the product, what it exactly does?
Yeah.
Okay. Deposits, what happens? The deposits has got 4 features. The main features are the principal amount, the tenure of the deposit, then the third is your rate of interest, and fourth is every month whatever the interest that gets calculated. What we've done is we have kept the rate of interest fixed, the bank fixes that. The principal amount, the tenure, and the monthly payoff, we kept it flexible. So what does that mean? Today, assuming you go to a bank and you put in, say, 100,000 rupees for 1 year at 6%. Now, after 15 days, you say, hey, I want to top it up to, say, 150,000 rupees. You go and put 150,000 rupees. Then after maybe around 13 days, you say, hey, I want my tenure to come down to 151 days. You bring it down to 151 days. Then you say, in the 3rd month, what interest gets calculated? Maybe I will take 10% of it. I have some requirement and let it and keep the balance there with it. So this is how you can actually play with the entire amount. Now, how the banks got it curated? ICICI Bank said, hey, look, there would be an asset liability mismatch. So what you do, you fix 40 or 30% of the deposit as a fixed component and make 70 or 30 or 60% as a variable component. So the people can withdraw or put whatever from the variable component. So whenever I put in money, a part goes for fixed and a part goes for variable. The fixed component helps the customer to build up a corpus over a period of time. Now that was first. Then apart from that, they came out and said we want a consortium of depositors. In other words, imagine 5 people putting money in a deposit. If you have to top it up, it gets hiked up proportionately. Want to decrease, it gets decreased proportionately. Kotak Bank wanted to have an automatic TDS, which is a nightmare for the banks. We got it done. Then Axis Bank and RBL worked on business cases with us on a rising interest rate, on a decreasing interest rate, and a static interest rate, how the customer benefits. And finally, when we went to AU Small Finance Bank, we talked only on implementation. How do we implement with FlexCube and Pinnacle? So this is how the entire product was piloted by many banks. Then banks like South Indian Bank came back and said that we want a reverse annuity in it. That also we added. Reverse annuity means what? Children go abroad and parents are left back here. So what they said was, hey, they send in maybe for 500,000 or maybe or say 200,000 rupees, for example, and every month a part of the money will be paid to the parents as per decided by it now. Then Federal Bank came back some more changes there. They said that instead of one beneficiary, there should be multiple beneficiaries of it. That also we got it configured. And in times of festival, the amount should probably be hiked up. So we got it an amount based that as the amount keeps on declining, you can top it up, or the tenure based. You can only pay up to 12 months and then you can stop it now. So this has made a deposit. It has completely changed the way as you do deposits out anywhere now. And that's what is making
the Partho, in the interest of time, why do you have 3 products? This sounds like a very interesting product. It sounds like all the banks have given you great feedback, good validation. You've got the specs from the banks. You've designed something that the banks are looking for. Why do you have so many products?
No, the one for advocates we did, we had a specific requirement we made and we gave it to them. Because it was more like a job work for the advocates that we did now. So we just made a few. We made a few for these advocates, and we just passed it and we gave it to them now. And then we saw that I made it
develop software for the lawyers. What about the supply chain thing? Is that also the same?
No, that's for lawyers only. So we had a requirement for from a few lawyers who wanted a software.
I got that. So that was a services project. You needed cash. You did a project and you got paid for it, and that was done.
That's right.
Well, what about the supply chain one? Is that a commission project? Is that a custom software development project, or is that another product that you're trying to build?
Which one? The deposits one?
Supply chain.
No, supply chain, we designed it. This was a requirement when I was working with SAP before I started my venture. Axis Bank had a strong requirement for this product, and we found a lot of banks in India had a need for this product. So we designed supply chain finance. The supply chain finance, we designed it. And my team was also parallel designing the product for deposits. I had a team of around 5 or 6 developers. So we just broke up the team in 2 parts, so we could design both the products simultaneously also.
No, this is the reason I'm probing this one is because for a startup, if you want to survive, you shouldn't be doing multiple products. You should be doing one product and getting that product to validation and paying revenues and so forth. So you shouldn't be doing so many products and eating up resources by developing so many products. It costs a lot of development resources to support 2 products.
No, true. But both the products that we got were actually we saw the requirement market, and since my developers were there and we could see that I could space it out in the time,
developers are not free. Are developers free? Are developers working for you for free?
No, they are not free. What happens is, the idea was that that if we have got 2 products, and for
it's a very bad idea. Having 2 products for a small software company is a very bad idea. Unless it's a services project. The lawyer one is okay. The lawyers gave you money to develop the product and you were bootstrapping using services, that's one thing. If a bank were paying you money to develop supply chain finance, I would be okay with it. But if you're trying to actually fund 2 product developments, it's a very bad strategy.
Okay. No, but
okay, now let's move forward. That's all spilled milk. You've already spent that time and energy and money and so forth. Now, where are we now? How fast can you get your banking customers for the deposits product to start paying you for what you're doing?
We are looking at the POC to start from this month onwards. My proof of concept deployment this month.
Why are they not paid POCs?
Well, the biggest problem for us startups are when we go to the banks, when we engage with them, we don't have the track record of Infosys or TCS or these big customers. So when we first time come to the bank, and since the product has not been deployed anywhere, that's the reason why we have to give them a free POC, or it becomes very hard to get a paid one. But what the banks also do to soften us, they do allow us to stay free of cost at their guest houses. At least the cost of travel and the cost of stay, some amount of money the banks would, but they don't pay for the cost of per day or per man-hour basis for implementation at their place out there. So that is
how long is a POC going to take you to get one paying customer going?
Maximum 30 days.
Okay, so then you're going to need to put the 30 days and get one paying customer going, and then you're going to, from here on, POCs need to be paid POCs because you will not be able to sustain otherwise. And you need to focus on one product and not spread yourself thin on multiple products.
Sure, that's it. That I understand. I understand that. So now we are in fact, we've got 2 banks coming for a POC now. My problem is with one is in Jaipur and one is in Mumbai, and we are based out in Bangalore. So I'm looking forward to tying up with a services integrator who could actually help us, to go and help us and work with us on a revenue sharing basis.
For free. No, but no service integrator. If your POCs are free POCs, system integrators are not going to work for you for free.
No,
it's very difficult to get services. Listen to me, Partho. It's very difficult for you to get anybody to work with you in terms of systems integrators until you show them the money. So right now, given where you are, the fact that you have to do free POCs, the only way you can do this is doing it yourself. So right now, you cannot attract any system integrator into doing these things for you. You're not ready.
No, we already spoke to system integrator and they are keen to work with us. In fact, I would be meeting them on Monday.
I don't believe system integrators are going to work for you for free.
No, this company is also a startup started by ex-employees who are working for FlexCube, and they are only in system integration. So I had a talk with them, and these guys are coming to meet me. We are just discussing out how it will work out for me. I said I have been very clear with them that, hey, look, for the POC, we will not be paid. But after the POC, we'll start billing and we'll be paid for that. If you're agreeing to come, we come. So we have got some agreement from them to come, and so we'll be talking to them on Monday. And this Monday, I'll have a complete clear picture how will we work with them now. So initially on face value, they said yes. So that's what I got.
If I were that system integrator, if I were advising that system integrator, I would advise them not to do this. Because if they're a startup and they're trying to survive, they should be doing system integrator for products that are accepted and for which they can get paid, not for products that are not accepted and for which they're going to have to work for free. They will go out of business in no time if they do that. And you need to also get paid for POCs. Maybe the first paying customer you do this for free, but from here on, after you get the first paying customers, when you can show that, yeah, we have a reference customer and so on and so forth, you basically need to start charging for POCs. And if you can start charging for POCs, then you can get system integrators to work with you.
No, that's right. The first POC will be, and apart from that also, the first POC that you said that we are doing it, we are not asking them anything. In fact, the best part is banks like IDFC came back and told we were looking for this product from 2015 onwards. So that was also a revelation to us that some banks are looking for specific on this product what you've given them. So the acceptance has been huge, and my first POC will be free. As we already spoke to the bank, but they have come back to us that moment the POC is done, we will talk on the commercials part of it, and the commercials part now, it depends whether we'll go on a licensing model or we'll go on outright sale. So that's something we have not decided till now. But we have also decided that when we do the POC, what time we finish it, and then we go for the commercials there.
Right. So based on what you have described so far, I don't have enough information with which to decide anything about financing. I don't know the TAM, I don't know the business model, I don't know the pricing model. All of those are required for TAM. None of that information is in your presentation. All of that needs to be in your presentation to be able to raise money. All of those needs to be figured out if you want to raise money. And before you can raise more money, those things have to be in place, with one exception: if it's friends and family funding. I assume that your angel funding that you have raised 2 crores of is from friends and family. So if you can get more of the same, that is doable. But if you have to raise money from professional investors, you're going to have to go through the full process of developing a proper investment pitch, which right now you don't have.
Right.
Okay.
True, but then what do you suggest now next then?
Next step is to get as many paying customers as possible, figure out the business model and the pricing model as soon as possible, and accordingly assess what is the TAM in this business. What kind of TAM are we talking about? What is the business? And by the way, if you go try to sell to professional investors that I have this product and that product and that product, they're not going to be interested. You're going to have to build a business plan for one product, and then, over time there may be multiple products, but right now you have to convince them that we have one product that the market accepts. We have product market fit, this is the pricing model, this is the business model, this is the TAM for this product, and this is the business we are building. That's what, if I'm an investor, that's what I'm looking for, is what is the business you're building, and what are the dynamics and the details and specifics of that business, and what is the level of validation that you've got. That's what you need to establish as soon as possible.
True. Right. Thanks. Okay. I think I'll start working on that then.
Yep, absolutely. Don't even look this way or that. It's like very clear. What you need to do right now is crystal clear, absolutely. This, that, and the other. And I've already named what this, that, and the other is just now. So replay the recording, take the notes down, and do exactly those pieces.
True. Thanks.
Okay? Good luck.
Right.
Good. I mean, the thing that I love about your situation is that you have developed a product with input from a bunch of customers. You have done customer immersion and got your specs from customers. Now you have to turn around and sell to all those customers and get them to pay for what you've built. That is, so the first part is great. Now you have to complete the loop of actually getting those customers who've given you feedback to actually pay for what you've built for them.
Right. Sure. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Right.
All right, folks, if you like what we're doing here, our request to you is that bring serious entrepreneurs into 1M by 1M, people who are, who have realistic ideas about how much heavy lifting it takes and how much hard work it takes to actually build a real company. This is not something that you can, it's not a fly-by-night thing. It's not something that you can wing it. It's something that you're going to have to really work towards putting one foot before the other, and what we do here is exactly that, is figuring out what are the next few steps, how do you finance those next few steps, what are the pragmatic ways of bootstrapping those few steps, and getting to a point where you might be able to attract financing and so on and so forth. So this is, very much both strategic as well as tactical way of building businesses, which is what early stage startups do. The ones who become successful do that blocking and tackling successfully to get to the next step and the next step and the next step and develop credibility so that they can, build scalable businesses. Everything resource-wise is at 1mby1m.com. I'll take a few minutes to help you understand how to work with us if you choose to use 1M by 1M as your accelerator. There's a bunch of free resources. The first free resource is our blog. There's a ton of learning material there, case studies, journeys, entrepreneur journeys, trend stories, thought leadership, interviews, etc. You learn a lot just by following the blog on a regular basis. It doesn't take very long. Every day, if you spend 15-20 minutes reading the blog, you are already, way ahead of the curve, and then you can decide how much more, what else you want to focus on. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is a very good starting point also to aid your learning. The books are all available on Amazon. digitally and some physically as well. And you can double click on a particular topic. So in the case where some of you are trying to figure out whether to bootstrap with a paycheck, let's say you have to bootstrap, you're not ready for financing, bootstrapping with a paycheck is a reasonable strategy. We encourage that strategy. Similarly, bootstrapping using services, what we were just talking about with Partho's company, he has taken this project from the lawyer to bootstrap using services. Right now, I think many companies face this situation where taking a services model gets them over the bootstrapping barrier that is a necessity in the early stages of business building. So those are just two examples of ways you can get from one place to another, put one foot before the other. And then you can, there are a whole lot of other different topics that are dealt with in book format. These roundtables happen every week, week after week after week. So come to these roundtables, use the recordings to learn. The full acceleration program from 1 million by 1 million is $1,000 annual membership fee. We offer you extensive methodology guidance, full coaching, mentoring, consulting support. The curriculum is built with case studies. It's a case studies and video lectures based curriculum that you can study on your own time. All the methodology that you require to master, and there's a lot of methodology that you need to master, is available in the curriculum format. We help you with business development. Where we have contacts, we have very extensive Rolodex. We'd be happy to open that Rolodex for you. You can use our Rolodex to meet people, whether it's potential customers, channel partners, investors, media, analysts. Everything in our network is available to you if you're part of the premium program. And when it comes to financing, as I said, there's a preparatory period. You're coming to us mostly, more often than not, without completely having all the pieces that are necessary to raise financing. So we help you, again, close those gaps and get to a place where we can start introducing you to investors. When you're ready, we will introduce you to investors and take it from there, basically. That's the way the program works, and we do have very intense investor contacts, and we circulate you in that investor network as soon as you're ready. The 1M1M self-assessment is a very good set of questions that any of you who are trying to raise financing should put your businesses through these questions and try to answer these questions. If you run into methodology gaps, one easy way to plug that methodology gap is to subscribe for 1M1M Basic, and you can access the curriculum, and you start answering those questions using the curriculum to learn the methodology. And then when you're ready, upgrade to premium and start working with me. Either way is fine. You can go straight into premium, or you can go to basic, start doing some work on your studies on your own, and then come to premium. That's fine. All of those permutations and combinations are okay. We've tried to, for all these years, we've tried to give you ways to use the program in as many different ways as possible so that you can, interact and interface with the program in whatever way works for you. What to expect? The website is full of material. So what to expect from the premium program, what to expect from basics, video FAQs, FAQs. The program is very well described on the website. The curriculum is deeply described. So dig around on the website and decide if this program is for you. This program is not for everybody. Remember that. If you're not comfortable with self-learning, if you're not interested in studying, if you're not interested in doing all this heavy lifting that we believe is a requirement for building a business, this is not the program for you. We do not have magic bullets. We do not believe in magic bullets. We only believe in learning the methodology, executing on the methodology, developing good strategy, implementing good strategy, and that's the only way, only predictable, manageable way in which you can actually, circumvent the challenge that you face as an early stage entrepreneur. So our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. Even if you raise money, you have to bootstrap first and then raise money later with validation. Otherwise, people don't fund unvalidated stuff right now. And that's where we are. We are in December of 2017. There is no way to really fund unvalidated businesses except from friends and family. So for friends and family, you don't need to come to us. That is in your network. You can decide to raise money from friends and family. But beyond that, at the moment you come to a professional investor network, there is no other way to do it besides, putting one step before the other, validating and getting ready to, present to professional investors. We have roundtables now every week, except for the Christmas holiday time. So, there are 2 more in December, then 4 more in January. Please sign up if you would like a slot to pitch and discuss your strategy. We also have in-person rendezvous, December 13th, next week we have one. And then in January 3rd and January 10th, we have 2 rendezvous, and probably we'll be adding more on a weekly basis. So in Menlo Park, if you're in California, if you're in the Silicon Valley area, or if you're visiting the Silicon Valley area, we meet at Cafe Boroni in Menlo Park. So you can come and talk to me, and I'll be happy to chat with you about your business, get to know you and so forth. So it's been working great. We've started these rendezvous last September. People come, we have very informal, intimate discussions about business, and you're welcome to check it out. That's pretty much it. If you have questions, we do have time to take questions from the audience, or you can also use the public chat to ask questions. So go ahead, and I will pick up questions from the public chat as well. Meanwhile, if you have questions about the 1M program after this call, you can contact Irina Patterson, irina@1mby1m.com, and she'll be happy to answer your questions. That's pretty much it for today. Questions, folks? Anybody? Anybody who has pitched already, if you have further questions, now we do have time and open forum. Ashka Shah, can you please give out info on meetup in Palo Alto? Yes, Maureen will put the link in public chat right away. If you go to the website, it's under Rendezvous. It's back there on the web page. Partho Chakraborty, can you validate an idea? What does that mean? I don't understand the question. Can you?
Okay, can I tell you about it? Can I just talk for 2 minutes?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, it's like this. On 2010, my idea was picked up by Power of Ideas contest and was voted one of the best ideas in India. 2011, India picked up one of the best ideas from Asia. But till 2017, we couldn't figure out what to do with it. And 2017 only I could understand what to do with it. What the idea was that I would take off the entire clearing mechanism altogether. I would make out electronic checks which will come on your cell phone and your laptop devices, and you can pay and you can clear with that. Now it completely transforms cash management. It takes off clearing houses altogether, and the beauty part is the entire transactions you do at a cost of 10 paisa or less. When I went a little further with it,
let me just stop you right there. You already have a business, you have built a product, and right now your strategy should be to focus, just like, remember the story of Arjun and Dronacharya from Mahabharata, where
that's right. I agree with you. I agree with you. I just wanted to validate that, that's all, nothing else.
Validate. We have a very clear strategy of validating ideas. And in the case of your deposit product, you have followed that strategy. You have immersed yourself in customers. You've got feedback from customers, and now you need to close the loop and sell to those customers. This idea would require to go through that same kind of process. You would need to go to the banks and do exactly the same procedure and do the same thing, but you don't have bandwidth to do this right now. So right now, put that on the shelf and forget all about it.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That's it.
Anybody else? Questions, comments? So Ashka, you have all the information about the rendezvous. If you would like to come next week, please join us. Ashim Shah's for an online B2B marketplace, cross-border shipping. How would you advise it be structured? It's too vague a question. Please feel free to sign up for one of the next roundtables, upcoming roundtables, and I'll be happy to work with you in more detail. It's too vague a question to answer. Anybody else? All right, folks, we're going to wrap up for today, and we'll meet you back here next week, and hopefully see some of you at the meetup next week as well, those who are local or are visiting California next week. And feel free to sign up and find time on the schedule of pitches if you would like to come and actually discuss your strategy for your business. Thank you for coming today. I hope you enjoyed the session, and we look forward to working with you again. Bye.